Hey guys, Moss here. Hope you are doing really well, and welcome, welcome back to the Moss Experience. There we go. Again, it's Moss Sajady with Moss on Sunday. Welcome back. Just want to make sure everything's running okay. So just a sound check on your end, because we do a lot of sound checks and all that, but then we never and then it goes live. So just want to make sure sound check is okay. This Moss on Sundays is featured by the Addiction Recovery Series, and that's what we're going to be talking about. The Addiction Recovery Series. What is addiction? And a whole different. It's a whole. Well, it's a very new way of looking at addiction, and this new method, this new way that I've coined. Thanks for checking, guys. I'm glad to be here as well. I'm glad you're here, but it's a whole different way of looking at addiction. Now, through the years that I've had my abilities, about a decade. Maybe more, but really honed, a decade, and then working on people. My abilities have transformed hundreds of thousands of people's lives, and not just like, oh, I feel better, but massively transformed people's lives, including massive abuse that people have had. Now our abuse series, I guess one of the most profound, and these aren't my words; these are basically the words that the people who went through the program. One of the most profound experiences that they've had. Why? Because it actually changed their lives. Now they've gone through tons of abuse, modalities, whatever that they've done. But the 6-week course, it was crazy on how fast people can change. Okay, and that's really, really good. But then on the flip side, when people change so fast, even if it's for the better, it's still kind of intense for them. So if you are planning on taking the addiction series, again, I would suggest that you do a couple 18-day meditations. You still got a chance to do that because it does start. No, actually, it doesn't. But you should do the 18-day meditations at least once before you join the addiction recovery series. And if you don't, it's just going to be more and more intense. So what I found though is that addiction, it's not about it's not about habits. It's not about the need to acquire something. It's not even like feeding whatever you're addicted to, your cravings. Okay. And that's really the key. And, a lot of times when people, go through an addiction program or process, whatever it is, there's the 12-step program, there's AA, there's rehab clinics. How many of you have gone to rehab? And then, and again, comment in, how many of you have you gone to rehab and you still have those issues, right? Or you might be addicted to something else. So, and some of you don't even know that you've got addiction patterns. So that this again, very, very intense program. But what I found out with all those programs, which are really great programs, by the way, I'm not knocking them down anyway, but there's a key factor that's missing within all those programs, and the key factor is what we're going to be talking about, and I'll actually have you experience how addiction happens. For those who can say sense frequencies, or even if you're listening to the recording, you'll probably get to feel what an addicted person will feel like. And if you do have addictions, or you still have addictions, and you think you don't, you'll feel these frequencies as well. So what is the main cause of an addiction? We're going to get into that. But I even created this little quiz for you to see if you are addicted. Now, you might not think so, but you might be. So what we're going to be talking about, again, learning about frequency patterns underlying, which is frequency patterns underlying addiction, as well as corresponding patterns in anyone connected to addiction in any way. Now the addiction is really key. with family and friends around, because the family and friends of an addicted person actually enable. Now, you've heard about people enabling, enablers, right? This goes much, much deeper than that. It goes way deeper than that. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about, say, again, a surprising new way that I see on how I can help you disconnect from those addictions really, really fast. Not just disconnect, but then help you pull into your higher potential. And then also, like I said, we'll experience a powerful frequency-infused hyper meditation that will put you into a state of addiction. And this is what the key is. And this is this, and and I talk about the key because if you can get to that point where you feel addicted and you don't know what you're addicted to, the way I do it, and it sounds kind of crazy or convoluted, but some of my logic is much, much deeper, and that's why it works. It goes to the first level. But if I can show you that you don't have to be addicted to anything, say physical, okay, or even at a deeper level, spiritual, if you want to call it that, although there is spiritual addiction, and you feel like you have addictions or you need something to fulfill yourself, okay? That is when you get to the core level problem, and I can get you into those states rather quickly. So for those who don't have addictive type personalities, you'll naturally you'll naturally say smooth into your original self. For those who do have addictive type personalities and need something, say, physical to satiate that underlying, say, pattern, okay? And it is real. It's not an emotional state, guys. It is real what I'm creating for you. Those individuals who are addicted, again, you'll feel it's like, oh shit, I need whatever to satiate my addiction. But that whatever is the problem. That whatever is just something that you happen to reach towards in when you were drowning. So imagine this: you're drowning, you're slipping away, okay? And this is what addiction actually feels like at a deeper level. And what you're slipping away from is your time bound, your timeless body. If you want to call it your time bound, your human form, okay? Your timeless body, your spirit form, okay? There's a connection between the two. Okay? And it's just like a Bluetooth connection. It needs to be connected. You're still here, all of you, and it goes much deeper. All of you think your spirit's out there, and someday, when you retire, you're going to find your spirit and all that. It's not. Your spirit is literally rendering or creating who you are here. So I just want to say that again. Your spirit, your timeless self, is that identity of you, the only real identity that exists, by the way, that is creating a rendering of you, your human experience here. It's not the other way around. That's one thing we need to know about addiction. Most people think, and this will just help you heal a lot of your addiction patterns, by the way, if you just understood this one concept, okay? Most people who are addicted think that they're an island of their own and there's nobody around that can help them. Because there is nobody around that can help you. Because nobody around can help you. That's key. So you feel really isolated, okay? Why do you feel isolated? This is what I'm talking about. And again, if you all feel isolated, oh, that's so nice. I cured my addiction with XI. When I told people from AA that I found the cure, I was ostracized and pushed away and dismissed. Their addiction doesn't want to be cured. A lot of people, they don't want to be cured. That's so true. Beautiful. Thank you, though. So the key is that, one, the first step in addiction is, one, you feel isolated. You feel alone. You feel you can't disconnect. You can't connect to any one individual. How many of you, again, feel that way or have felt that way in the past? Right? So now what happens is, wow, I feel really isolated. And then what happens? The next step. Right? This is where your addiction starts. I'm telling you where your addiction may have started. The next step is that you start to feel like there's this current that's pushing you away, right? You're peeling, like you're just getting pulled. It's usually a pull or a push, but most likely it's a pull for many of you. Okay, you're getting pulled away from where you should be. Like you're having a good time right here, right? You're having a great time. You're talking to a friend, or you're enjoying the experience. It's like, come on, we gotta go now. And it's like, but wait a second, I was having a good time here. I was talking to somebody, and somebody just comes from behind you, literally, and pulls you back. And it's like, oh my God, this was the best time. And then you get pulled back further and further. So what the mechanics or the science behind that is that, again, your time-bound body's here, okay? Your spirit is here. For some reason, what happens is that you lose, it's a connection. You lose, say, Bluetooth connection to yourself. And then what happens is that it feels like your body's disappearing. And as you feel like you're disappearing, again, it feels that pull, right? Your body's disappearing. What happens is that, again, you feel like you're dying. So what do? Okay? Just imagine that scenario again. You're having a great time. You're watching a movie. You're talking to, a friend, whatever it is. And then somebody goes, hey, it's time to go. And they don't even give you a chance. They just like start pulling you from the event, from the experience. And then it's like, no, I want to stay here, because if you go with this thing, you're going to lose yourself, and it's not going to be good. Okay? Sometimes even death. So what happens is that as you get pulled away, you latch onto something. As you latch onto something, anything that's in front of you. So in the moments that you were addicted, you just looked at anything that was there and you latch onto. First, if you're a baby experiencing that, you latch onto your mom or your father or whoever that's there, right? And then you would latch onto a blanket, and so on, like that. You'd latch onto a doll as you get older. You'd latch onto staying in your room because that was a safe space. You'd latch on to, say, a dear friend. Then opportunities show up on other ways to latch on, like alcohol and drugs and abuse patterns and all that. So you'd even latch on to abuse patterns. And this is what's crazy about addiction and abuse, by the way, is like people love being abused. And I don't mean that you love being abused, but at a deeper level, you do love that because it keeps you sane. Okay? Although it sounds crazy at the lower level, at the higher level, you're trying to keep that connection between your timeless and your time-bound self. Okay? That's all it is. If you can get to a modality that can, say, heal that aspect for you and help you put yourself in time and space, you can heal your addictions. Now, I don't claim to cure your addictions. I'm not a psychologist or anything medical on that. Have I helped clean up a lot of addictions? I think if you look at the chat, a lot of people are going, yeah, I've, through the process of XI, I've helped them help themselves clean up of addictions. By the way, no one can help you with anything other than you awakening. Okay. So, and that's what we do, or that's what I do best. I help you awaken, and then you start to realize that your addiction is not needed anymore. And this is another thing between what we do here, and any other modality out there. Okay? And again, not knocking any modality out there. Those things are still needed for you because I give you the logistics, the foundation. They would give you the other stuff that you need to, put it all under wraps and get rid of it. Okay. The other aspect of addiction that I want to talk about that many don't is that most modalities out there, it circumvents things just like anything else, psychology and self-improvement or making money or dating or having a kid or marrying somebody, whatever, achieving something, whatever it is. It's the only reason that you want all those things is that you want to connect with yourself at a much deeper level. That's all. So the reason why I say that is that those things that we do, and there's nothing wrong with those things that we do, but the underlying reason on why we do what we do is that you want that strong connection. You want to know that you're safe and secure here. So again, between timeless, time-bound self, you want to have that enveloped or wrapped within each other, and then you feel all powerful, and that's what XI is all about. But so what happens is that you might take the 12 step, you may take AA, you might take rehab, and why those things don't work well is because one, they don't go to the underlying reason on why you're addicted. Again, it's not about anything physical here. They're trying to solve the top level, the problem, like your heroin habit or your cocaine habit, and other things that we're going to get into that might not even feel like you're addicted. So I want you to get a pen and paper handy, guys, especially if you have addiction patterns. I want you to get a pen and paper handy or something to write with, because this is going to benefit you. Okay, you can comment in as well. You can comment in as well, but make it writable, and then make it so you can take your notes away for yourself. So if you do comment in, you can comment in again, but write it somewhere else where you can see it again. Okay, it'll be highly beneficial for those who are addicted. Let's take a deep breath in. So the other aspect of it is that, again, any other modality that's out there, really, what happens is that it creates a workaround experience. So at a deeper level, the underlying cause, again, getting pulled away or not identifying where you are in space-time. That's what it's really all about. You're not identifying you in space-time. Yeah. Is the problem. So as you say, pull away, again, those other programs don't allow you to fix that, right? So what they do is that, again, they create an identity of you, especially if you use hypnosis or NLP or anything similar to that. They basically create another identity of you, saying, hey, this is the way I am. And you force yourself to stay into this identity. How many of you feel that way? Over time, it's like you're literally forcing yourself to be this identity. Let me give you a clear example, right? You take AA, right? You're still addicted. You still have those habits and patterns, but what do? They force you, or you force yourself to go, I'm not addicted, but inside you still are. Or this is where people put locks on their cabinets, whatever, so they can't get into it. You're still addicted, right? You just stopped, so you couldn't reach, again, what actually saved you, which is actually detrimental, because some of you, again, might start to, say, pull away enough that you get suicidal. So XI, the Addiction Recovery Series, allows you to help you, again, pull yourself back in. So let's take a deep breath in. I want you to take this quiz. If you're ready. All right. So taking this quiz, again, hopefully you've got pen and paper, or your smartphone, whatever it is, computer that you're watching on this. Do you feel that you need to keep improving yourself? But whenever you get to that point that you've reached, like, if I get X, I'm good. But when you get to that point, you feel that you're not good enough. So an overall feeling is that no matter how much you succeed, you're never good enough. I need the next best thing. It's like, yeah, so your whole journey, so you're in the process of the journey, right? Journey. You achieve that goal, and it's like, you've got that goal no matter what it is, that trophy, trophy spouse, the $1 billion, whatever. It's like, what do I do now? It happens quite a bit, especially if you're an entertainer, especially if you're a young kid who jumps into success, through, I don't know, YouTube, all that, right? They make a ton of money. This is where also, you're a young kid, you're an athlete, and you get signed up for college, pro college, like college athletics, and then the pros into that, and then you get addicted to a lot of things, right? Although you never were addicted, so to speak. You start to become addictive or abusive. So again, those types of people. So if you know anybody like that, right? Yeah, young athletes or athletes in general that start to become abusive and start to get addicted, or even entertainers. Again, the abuse recovery series is good for them as well. So how many of you are that? Yes, avoid feel. Exactly. Right. And the cool thing about that is that the closer you get to your goal, the more of a void you feel. I explain all that in the addiction recovery series on the science behind that. Do you always need more? Do you always need more? Whether it's food, whether it is an identity, whether it's money, whether it's knowledge, whether it's exercise. This is where people start to pick on themselves, right? This is also where people stopped their addiction, their bad habits like smoking or anything else, and then they get into exercise. They start eating better. They start to, they start to count every calorie. They start to read. They start to have a calorie counter. They start to, say, abuse themselves by going into, say, harsh forms of cleansing, like, say, dieting for 40 days or whatever it is, right? Are you suicidal? What does addiction have to do with suicide? By the way, it's not like you're taking some cocaine or something like that. It's got nothing to do with that. That you get suicidal. But are you suicidal and you have no clue why? We talk about that in the addiction series. Again, are you suicidal and you have no clue why? You just are. Your family's good. Your world is good, right? At a physical level, but deep inside, right? So for those, and I'll just to help you on that, for those who are suicidal and have no clue why, right? The loved ones around you, right? They tell you, "Oh, hon, you should." And this is the worst thing you can say to somebody, right? Who has everything. You should be happy. You should be happy for everything that you have. To me, don't ever say that to anybody who's suicidal or addicted to something. Okay? The reason why is that they already know that, and you're just throwing mud in their face, going, "Idiot, what the hell is wrong with you?" Basically, no matter how kind you say it, at a deeper level, it's like, "Yeah, I know everything's perfect. I have everything, but I'm still addicted and I'm still destroying my life, or I feel like not wanting to be here." It's not about the physical possessions. That's why. Okay. So again, it's just slapping in the face and going, "I'm so stupid. I can't even figure this out." That's what you're saying for those people who are addicted and abusing, or they got a fantastic life and then they abuse, right? They have, like, this one girl I know a lot of people, but super intelligent. She's in the medical professional, highly intelligent. Her talents are, let's say, 1 in a million. She's an alcoholic, right? It's like, why would people destroy themselves that way? Well, we talk about that. The next thing, are you anxious? Are you anxious or anal? Or do you need to get something done? Like, if something comes in your mind, it's like, ugh, and you can't think of anything else. That thing needs to get done. Okay? Those are all premature forms of, again, getting addicted to, say, higher and higher or bigger and bigger things. Do you always need the next best thing? Or do you have do you always need the next best thing? Like, I can't wait till the next iPhone 20 is here. And then you get the iPhone 20 and it's like, oh, and then it's like 3 days later, because it's still the same iPhone, right? 3 days later, it's like, oh, wow, okay, that's great. You love it, so on. You actually form an identity with a new iPhone. And that's how marketing works. Marketing gets gets addicted. That's another thing. You read something or you see something and you have to have it. That's again, social media, marketing tactics for you. So if you get that way, are you one of those individuals? And then do you have a short attention span? Do you have a short attention span? Somebody says something, or do you want something like simple? Just give it to me simple, because you can't handle processing anything, right? So again, short attention span, give it to me simple, because you don't have time. Those are all addiction patterns, by the way. Okay. Yeah. So how did you do? And again, just note, how did you do? All right. Or the next career. There we go. Thanks. Absolutely. The next career, the next thing. Nothing is ever good enough. Those are all addiction patterns that most people don't realize. What are you addicted to? You're addicted. Here's the key. Are you ready? You're addicted. It's not even addiction, by the way. It's a pattern that you have of not being able to stay in the matrix. You're not being able to stay in time and space. Oh, people who are addicted to religion. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's what it is. I know it sounds crazy, but you can't hold yourself steady in one moment in time. That's what's wrong. It's not an addiction. An addiction is a symptom for you. Again, an addiction is a symptom of the original problem, which is not being able to control where you render or you create yourself. Here, you fix that, and then you don't need any addictions. And that's the key. What we do here in XI is like you create that, focused state of being so present. Your higher intelligence, your higher identity of yourself comes through. As your higher identity of yourself comes through, what happens is that you push away the identity that you would call addicted in this reality. It's like, I don't need that anymore. And the cool thing about it is the way, again, people have resolved themselves. And I want those people to comment in on those individuals. This is where you create such a new identity. There is no cravings. Like, you stop smoking, nicotine patches, all that garbage, right? You don't need any of that. Again, that's just another, transition. It's another way of getting your nicotine. Again, you're still addicted. But how does that happen? Okay. If you're a scientist and you don't believe what I say, again, there's tons of people that do that. Oh, somebody says addiction to XI. Let me comment on that. Okay. Okay. So, because it's not an addiction, but just back, finishing up my point, take a deep breath in, and we'll start into, say, scanning people. So when you are free of a real addiction, and this is where, again, it goes back to, say, what Jesus said, not the religion, but the man himself, the purity, the beautiful essence of him. When he said, when you can forgive like at a Jesus level, you're literally forgiving yourself. Okay. And the way it works is like you stop those addictive patterns, okay, or addictive symptoms, basically. You don't have cravings for nicotine. You just stop. And there's like, I'm not addicted to cigarettes anymore. I don't need whatever. There's people who have gotten off heroin. Right? People don't get off heroin. They've done it with XI. And it wasn't even the addiction series, by the way. Again, through that 18-day hyper meditations and all that. They've gotten through. They've gotten over that. So how does that happen? Again, it's because we create a whole different identity. True forgiveness of yourself. That's really the key, right? It goes that deep where you just don't need anything, any replacements at all. All right. The addiction to XI, and we'll jump into a hyper meditation. So let's get comfortable. Notice your spine, your lower spine. Breathe in. Notice what's around you. So notice the objects around you. I don't know, the table over there, your chest. Notice what's behind you. You know, the back of your neck. Notice the floor, and then your eyes, whatever it might be. Breath in again, and this is an experiment where I'll get you into that addictive state or the need to be addicted to something. And again, whatever you're addicted to, let's just say it's just random. Whatever your weakest aspect is, you would be addicted to that. Okay. Breath in again. Being addicted to XI, well, if you have addiction patterns, you would be addicted to XI. But in reality, it's kind of like when you find something that's really, really nutritious for you, you'll just gravitate to it back, and that's all you'll want. If there was a food, there was one food that was like really, really nutritious for you, and your body needed it, right? Your body needed all, no matter how many times you could eat it every meal, and your body would just love it and crave it because it's getting what it needs. So it's not an addiction, it's just nutrition that your body, your identity, yourself needs. So again, addiction is not, XI is not an addiction. There are people who turn it into that, and then it evens out because their addiction patterns are releasing. So a breath in again. Notice your breath again. Somebody said all my answers were no. How will this help me? Actually, you're the type of person that always have to defend themselves, no matter what I say, no matter what anybody says. You stop. You know, again, it's a defense mechanism for you. You stop and question everything, which is good. But then again, you never change, or you change really, really slow. Breath in again. Notice your spine, just getting you into that right space. And if you want, it might be easier to close your eyes. And you can close, I mean, you're always in control, but you can close um, your eyes at any time, whether you close it now or say a few seconds from now. Again, it's your choice. All good. You're in control. Do you notice how stable you feel? There's a calmness. Notice how that came about. Breath in again. This is the scenario where you're having a good time. Again, at a physical world, you might be talking to somebody, having a great conversation. You might be doing whatever. Again, you're having a good time. Breath in again. Some of you there we go. Some of you are feeling that disconnect. Again, whether it's panic or anything else. There we go. Breath in again. You're safe, so stay here. Stay solid. Again, notice how you feel. You might crave whatever that you need if you feel panicky. Some of you are like, oh, I feel it, but I'm solid. Those are the XI people. Again, the advanced XI people. There we go. Breath in again. Let's pull you back in. And again, notice that you didn't need anything. It's just how you render yourself in the matrix. There you go. Did you feel yourself come back together like almost instantly when I did that? There we go. So this is about stuff you're addicted to or how you can't handle rendering yourself in space and time. And again, I can guarantee you, 1,000% guarantee that no other addictive modality out there goes to the core level. And this is why. You'd have to understand the matrix and time and space to help you with your addictions. All right. Commenting. Again, we're going to go into the scans. As a note, we've got the year end is coming up. A lot of good stuff coming up. Tonight, personal optimization. It's on relationships. For those who took the 13 ways, again, continuing education on that. Personal optimization on how to improve your relationships. It's really a really good time to take it. Okay. Because a lot of you are going to go into the holidays. You're going to revisit, your loved ones, the family, right? It's a stressful time for a lot of people. In fact, suicide goes up around this year quite a bit. And then all the family drama and all that stuff. A lot of people don't even want to go go back into their families, right? But we need to go back for some reason or another. But anyway, so this will literally help you understand relationships at a much, much deeper level. Okay. So I know Thanksgiving's coming up. Christmas is coming up. You can do it. Do it tonight live, and then take that recording. And just before you get into meeting your in-laws or meeting your family and all that, play that a day or two before you go, or play it on the car, on the drive, whatever, on the plane as you visit them, and it'll allow you to separate your identities, yourself, because you used to be them, but it'll allow you to separate and you elevate to a higher level, and you see where they are. So it's a great opportunity, especially for those who've done XI through the year, to literally pull yourself completely away from those relationships. And I'm not saying those relationships are bad. I'm not saying they're good. There's a better version of you out there. That's all I'm saying, right? But you want to gravitate to that better version. If you don't, that's fine. That's fine. Then you don't want to do the personal optimization for relationships. But this will help you use that tool. So it's actually an exciting time for you to meet, to go back into the family, because it's like, shit, I get a new skin, a new identity myself. So that's what that's going to be about. Elevation, by the way, it's a great idea. It's an elevation. It's a shorter version of the 18-day hyper meditations. Again, 18 days, where you can transform your life in 18 days, literally, just by listening. Okay. If you don't believe me, try an 18-day, and then talk to me afterwards. Okay. Um, but the elevation that starts, it's 4 times a month. It's powerful enough for those people who are new to XI frequencies, XI frequencies. It's a really great way to get your feet wet, to help you understand, because as you take the 18 days, even the essential, the base level 18 days, it's more powerful than pretty much any course that you could pay hundreds of thousands for. Literally, there's people that pay $100,000 for a year-long course and they don't get anywhere. So again, it's more powerful than that. So the 4 meditations for the month, that allows you to get your feet wet. It allows you to help understand what frequencies are. It allows you the basics. So when you do jump into the 18 days, it's really fantastic. And for those who have taken the 18 days, and you're really seeing a lot of changes, right? You want that momentum going, right? So this will give you enough momentum, but enough free space for you so you can bounce on your own. Okay, so that's that. Then 11/11 XI coming up, meditation on November 11/11 at 11:11 a.m. So that's coming up. It's really powerful. We're going to use the magic of numbers, because everything is math. And 11/11 actually is more than that for me, because around that time, every November, I just get upgraded and upgraded, faster and faster. So you can be part of, say, history. Some of you who've gone through that process as I get elevated, it's the craziest thing, right? You can literally feel me go into that next level, and it's just like a whole different, say, wave that you can feel no matter where you are. Really cool. So I kind of predict that happening to me on 11/11. The addiction recovery Q&A. It's just a question and answer. It's free for you, for those who are addicted, or if you are a counselor, or anything in the addiction recovery field. It'd be awesome for you. It's a great opportunity for psychologists and so on that deal with addictive clients, to not only help you understand them better, but to help you get better, deeper knowledge as you help your clients. So that's free. That's Q&A. That's November 10th. Personal deprogramming coming up. A lot of stuff coming up. Tuesday, November 30th. Again, that's down the road a bit. And then our last in-person event for the year. Okay, it's called Becoming a Lighthouse, becoming that icon of who you are. And it's live at the Lake Harriet Spiritual Center. So if you're here, it's the first time we're getting back into physical events again at the Lake Harriet Spiritual Center here in Minneapolis. So everything is on the website, guys. So, all right. And then after the meditation, oops. Yeah. I'm sorry. Let me read this. disclaimer, because this is the world that we live in today, before we get into the frequency scans. This is Sajady with Xponential Intelligence, Sunday, November 7th, 2021. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. I can scan your frequency signature and tell you what I see. Please consult your doctor for professional advice. If you ask to be scanned today, you're agreeing that we may use your session on any public media like this one to help others and to help inspire others. So remember, it's really simple. If you don't want your content on there, and again, we don't use names or anything like that. It doesn't matter. You don't want that shared, then just don't ask to be scanned. Do a private session with me. Okay. All contents are protected by copyright. You may not use our content in any way, shape, or form for any purpose without my written permission. And then if you ask to be scanned, just do it once. Okay. Because if I see too many, I won't scan you. Anyway, by the way, talking about that copy, a lot of people are copying what we do, and that's a sign of success. So it's honoring. But again, for you all, again, you want to get the true version of XI. So again, watch out. Okay. All right. I would love to be scanned. My birthday is on the 9th. I'm ready to know the underlying issues that keep me stuck. This is Sarah. So it seems like you're kind of new to XI, and even if you aren't, there's a new awakening for you. So either way, right? Yeah. So that's that. And you're kind of the thing about you, Sarah, is like you're just testing the waters. You always test the waters. You always test the waters, and you go, well, is this thing right for me? So you don't fully commit to anything, right? Because, and I can see why back in the day, and I would suggest a session for your birthday. Just treat yourself. It's probably the best free 10 minutes that you could give to yourself, the best gift. But you know how you could, back in the day, you could never be yourself, right? You never knew. Maybe you had a father that was really, had some traumatic issues from what I'm seeing. Again, not his fault, but again, the relationship like that. It could be a mother, but it's just a masculine frequency that I see. And it's like, you didn't know who they were. So it's like one day, your father might be really happy and like really good to see you. It's like, hey, let's play around. And then the next day it's like, oh my God, what the hell are you doing? And just, what the hell's going on, and just beat the hell out of you, maybe psychologically, or maybe even physically, or somebody in the day. It might not be you, but again, somebody else being hit a little too strongly. Anyway, so you connect with somebody, and it's like, I don't know who I should be. So in that pattern is stuck in you so long. So life, you're always like dipping your toes into it. But each time you dip your toes into it, and you can't get comfortable with yourself, right? Because you never know. Because if you jump in completely, are you going to be like destroyed? That's the other thing, because back in the day, you probably jumped in completely and you thought everything was going good. And all of a sudden it's like, what? It's like, holy shit, I can't believe that you told me this, everything was okay. And then everything's not okay. Everything's off. So again, that moment stuck with you, and I was helping you disconnect by that, by the way. If I read you, I would like you to comment in on the accuracy of, I know I'm accurate. I don't need to know. I've worked on, I don't know, over 100,000 people, individual client cases. So I know I'm accurate. But for those people who, again, don't believe, and then for those people who are up and coming, they start to understand. It's like, well, where is it in the matrix that Moss is getting into? Can you scan my friend Julia, who has MS? Yeah. So Julia, when I see her, again, I'm not a doctor, so I don't claim anything. I'm just telling you what I see. So for Julia, a lot of diabetic type tendencies from what I'm seeing. A lot of sugars, really destroying her identity. So that's the physical aspect of her. So I would suggest, again, staying off the sugars and maybe go on a keto diet, because sugars come in different forms. Well, people go, well, I don't eat sugars, I just eat fruit. It's a hell of a lot of fruit, especially if you're here in the US, because fruit here in the US is just fucking sugar water. It's got no content. It's got literally nothing for you that, is beneficial for you. It is just sugar water, the way they produce it. I'm not knocking any fruit growers down, but I'm just pushing you to get better fruit. That's all. Okay. For those who are growers and all, I don't want some big ass fruit company coming after me going, hey, you said something bad about our fruit. Well, fuck, it's bad. Look at if you go to anywhere else, by the way, fruit is really good. I don't know why I'm getting into that. But for Julia, again, so at a deeper level, again, frequency level, she's never been herself. As a young child, it's almost like she was always sick, or pretending to be sick. It wasn't a good excuse for her. Sometimes, when we get sick, when we're younger, it allows us to escape, and then mom or dad, but in this case, probably a mom, is like, mom's not gonna hate me as much, or mom not gonna whatever, be so aggressive on me, or mom's not gonna ridicule me as much because I'm sick, and then that pattern goes on. So again, you want to, I can help her with that. This is Ali Borda. I'd love to scan, help me move forward even more to the pure self. So you're doing really good, again, through XI. Ali, really, really nice job. Your abilities are coming in. So this is where XI begins for many. So take a deep breath in, guys. And again, as I work on one individual, if you have similar issues, I'll be working on you as well. So and while you're listening to this live, it is better at a live frequency, but it's just almost as powerful in the recording if you're listening to it, because I know a lot of you listen to it, on the recordings. All right, so for Ali, yes. So for you, your abilities are coming in. Seen a lot of changes, and yeah. So this is where XI literally begins. A lot of people take XI because they have a problem. Okay. But it's not just the problem that XI removes. It's like everything about you that's not supposed to be there. That's why it's such a spherical, say, expansion for you. Or as I call it, an inner expansion, like the name of my book title, Inner Expansion. That's what should be coming out. So again, so the hardness or all the stuff, the detox that people go through, again, that's not XI. This is where XI begins for people, where it's like you're a strong athlete now. Before you were diseased, you're not healthy, but now you're really strong, you're really complete. And now it's like, what can I do? What's my potential? That's where XI begins. So congratulations, son. Nice job. This is Vola Rad. Mas, please scan my family before the holidays. Absolutely. The reason why you're wanting me to scan your family, Vola, is because you're going to go into it and it's like, oh God, I've changed so much. I've done a good job. I want to keep this. If I go into my family, am I going to get polluted? How many of you feel that way? You've done the XI and all that stuff, right? And it's like your life is going great. Right. And then you could, when you connect to your family, it's like, oh shit, here we go again. Right. And then that stuff sticks with you. It's like smoke. You go into a bar, right? Back in the day, you go into a bar, it's smoking, you walk away. It's like, God, you got cigarette smoke, you leave your coat outside, so basically that's what you're asking for. It's not about them. Actually, it's about you disconnecting. So for you, I would suggest tonight's call, personal optimization on relationships. Again, those people who've changed dramatically and then they want to go to that next level, right? They want to secure their identity that they've changed into. So again, that's what this is about. It'll help you through the holidays. For those who are new to me, the personal optimization for you will allow you to separate your identity and see the patterns that your friends, loved ones, and all that, the connection to your higher self have, that you have as well. Again, so it's a sense of separation for those who are new to XI. This one, Donna Marie. Hi, Mas. I'd love to be scanned. I'm recovering from a toxic, narcissistic. It just says narc, but narcissistic empathy relationship. Can accelerate my healing. Nice job, Donna. I have to give you credit. So anything else? So, and this is for Donna. And again, Donna, comment back in. So for you, Donna, think of it this way. This it almost seems like you were in this relationship or you were in a previous relationship for a long ass time. Like I would say, like maybe 10 or 20 years. Again, a long time. It's like, how do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? Or your life feels that way. Now, you found XI and it's like, whoa. And it's in a short time, it's like you got disconnected. So now you're recovering, right? So I have to congratulate you on that, because if you didn't find XI or something close to it, you again, that pattern would just destroy you. And as you age, you wouldn't want to be here anymore. I say that because in your family, there are suicidal patterns in the later years. So that's why. So congratulations on, yes, take a breath in, notice your ribs. Yeah, notice your ribs in the front, and then feel them just notice your ribs from the front, and then feel the ribs all the way around, okay? All the way into your spine. That part of you just gets shattered. That's why I say that for you. It has to be strong. So let's solidify that. And then that way, nobody can distort you, abuse you, and all that stuff. And, disorient you. You're going to be strong and individual. And it doesn't take long, because now you believe in yourself, which basically you believe in XI if you believe in yourself. Yeah. Breath in again. And now, so this is key too. People who go through severe detox, you get to a point, it's like, oh shit, I'm over. I'm done with it. You don't detox like that. You just get better and better and better. So really, again, really proud of you. Nobody does that, right? Nobody does that in such a short time, unless you're here next. This is Lisa. Can I be scanned? Sure. Some of you who are new might go, how do you do that? He doesn't have a picture. I don't even have to know your name. Right. So again, I talk about that in, my lecture series, the podcast, XI podcast. Take a look at that, the mechanics on XI, how it works, because you all have these abilities as well. And I do teach it for you, with you, so you can have them as well. So no, I don't need anything. You could go, hey, Moss, I have a friend, and I'll know who you're talking about. Okay. At a science level, everybody has a frequency signature or an IP address that's specific to you, right? Like your fingerprints, it's specific to you. I tap into that. So for Lisa, it's almost like you have, or you're releasing. I can't tell. So because it's kind of foggy or grayed, which is really good, because your file systems are removing. So through the work that you've done with XI, Xponential Intelligence. So what's happening is that you might have 2 or 3 different identities right now. Okay. So you might be a little all over the place, but actually you're staying strong, and you're seeing, say, those personalities that you say shifted into in the past, which say distorted you, shortchanged you, all that stuff. Now you're going, wow, I see what I turn into. I see my behaviors. I see that. It's kind of like, when you have a really good friend and they see things that you don't, it's like, hey, you shouldn't be dating that person. And you go, why? They're just fine. And everybody else sees it, but you don't. Right. And then you date that friend and then you go, oh shit, now I know why. Right. So the same thing with you, Lisa, but again, it's within you. It's like you have these identities now, or personalities that you shifted into. So again, the ones that you do like, stay with it. The ones that you don't, and I would suggest not picking any of those old identities. Just delete it, remove it. And that's what I was doing, creating more separation for you, so it's clearer for you to see. Let's see. If taking addiction, should we still take the 18 days? It's really up to you. It might be a little too intense for you. So again, if you're new, really great question. If you're new, you would want to just take again, at least an elevation class, or at least one 18 days before we get on to the addiction recovery. But if you can't do that, it's starting just will be a little bit more intense. I talk about that on the free Q&A call. So join me on the Q&A call and I'll answer that question. Okay. I would love to find that elevation. Yeah, the elevation, guys, it does get you into that state where you can see possibilities for you that you've never really experienced. We use elevation for maintenance. Yes. Education. Can you please scan my daughter? We love you. Yeah, Lynn K. So for you and your daughter, yeah, you and your daughter, you're really getting connected to yourself. Really good. This is where like the family, the nucleus of the family regenerates itself. Okay. Overall, the destruction that we see in this reality, what's happening with COVID and all that, the nucleus of the family is just getting destroyed. It's getting pulled apart. Everybody feels isolated. Right? And that's how you divide and conquer, by the way. Again, breaking down the family nucleus. So that is replenishing itself. So you and your daughter are coming back together. Obviously, your daughter feels like a kind of like a rep. She might have feel like a replica of you in the day. So basically, before XI, you're literally turning your daughter into you. And that's how, again, hereditary works. But now you've like pulled back. You're stronger, stronger identity of yourself. You're more, say, self nurturing, so to speak. Your daughter is making choices on what she wants to keep from you and the father, what type of personality habits, even health habits and all that. Again, so it's a great opportunity again for her to. So for her, don't you can give her, say, the possibilities, but let her make the choice. Okay. And you're doing that already. So again, you're separating, which is really good. So she might go through some heavy stuff. It's basically, say that you learned, for example, me, right? I went through relationship patterns. And then it took me 20 years, right, to figure it out, to change. So my sons go through that process maybe in about, say, 5-6 months. They'll have that relationship pattern that I had, and they go, shit, I don't need this. So 20 years, like, or 5 months. Does that make sense? So your daughter will probably go through the same patterns as you did, but very, very quickly. So I would love a scan. This is Tiffany Haskins. So Tiffany, for you, take a breath in. For you, there's always a thing of having, say, a masculine identity secure you. So you never feel safe on your own. So and there's always, again, you need a masculine identity. The weird quirk about it all is that you always attract female frequencies around you. Okay. Yeah. So you always attract. So say you're a woman, a woman, and then although you crave masculine frequencies to, say, again, protect you, or yeah, you literally give your power away to a masculine frequency. But the interesting part about that is that when you're in an intimate relationship, the men that you attract, they're all feminine. So you have to turn into that masculine frequency. Like, and then it destroys the relationships. That makes sense to you, because it's like, shit, I lost myself. I've turned into a man. It's like, and they should be protecting me, but I'm protecting them. What the fuck, right? So that pattern, we can turn that around for you. And what I'm doing now is just separating that identity. So again, Tiffany. So again, you're a woman. And if you're a woman running, say, feminine frequencies without the need of having a masculine, say, frequency, say, consume you, by the way. And that's, if you wonder why you always attract feminine men, because you're afraid of masculine frequency. If you're intimate with them, especially, you would lose your identity as a whole. So either way, you would again come into a masculine frequency. So that's the underlying pattern. So whatever that you do, for example, right down to having sex, you come from a standpoint of a masculine frequency. So you go to a deeper version of this, by the way, guys. This is where, gay, lesbian, LGBT, and then all the other scenarios in there. This is the reason why. There's a mass confusion. So the hardware is okay. Again, the programming is not. Okay. Is it normal? I don't know. Any of those individuals, though, they don't feel complete. Neither do heterosexuals, by the way. Right. So the problem isn't, hey, you should love me the way I am, because again, you don't love yourself the way you are. I mean, I'm not talking about you, Tiffany, but those people who are, again, LGBT and all that. I'm not knocking you down. It is real for you, but a lot of you, by the way, have programs that are messed up, that say get you into that state, and then you want to hold on to that state and love yourself at that level. Okay. If you are really that, say, identity, I help those individuals really claim themselves. Okay. But if you're not, you say, again, strengthen. So either way, you strengthen. But most likely, when people, again, have reclaimed themselves, they turn into a strong man or woman. So, all right. This one, let's take a deep breath in. This is Joanne Klassen. Please scan me, Moss. Sure. So for you, there's always a fear. I don't know, again, not a doctor, but heart issues or circulation issues. Seems like your father or somebody like that crossed over from circulation issues, that hurt or that pain. It could be you that never recovered, or the parent that was left over. And the sexes, again, this is where it gets confusing for me, because I see your spiritual sex, your frequency that you're running. So again, I would pick you up as, say, a man, if you're running a masculine identity, so to speak, but you're a woman, right? So anyway, so for you, again, a love, somebody who lost their love or connection, or that, and then that pain, you never recovered, or they never recovered, and then it seems like they never recovered, and then their pain became your pain, and that's why you're always, say, in, say, a state of sadness, or basically a state of loss. You can easily move away from that, by the way. First of all, it's not yours. It's not yours at all. So that's an easy one, and that's what I was helping you with. Or if you've been with me, you're at a level that you're releasing that, that deeper, bottom of the barrel frequency. So whichever one. Let's see. Hello from Menu. That was intense. I stayed solid. Desperately. I think I did that. Is it Resi? I think Resi. Can you please scan me? Sure. So for you, again, for you, the reason you're very, say, what would it be? Anxious. Okay. And that anxiety, you're always trying to like climb around to somebody. So again, the addiction series, the addiction recovery series would be really good for you. Take a breath in. This is where people get so anxious and then they need a fix, so to speak. But that fix that you're looking for is of time and space. It's not about anything else. So again, breath in. There we go. Seems like back in the day, it's got nothing to do with what you're doing now. Okay. But back in the day, like 3, 4, 5, 6, it's almost like your mom or somebody, a feminine frequency, would get into, so your family has really intuitive powers. Okay. Those intuitive powers come from a which brand, of frequencies. So, and again, is there anything wrong with that? Well, if you're using, again, a dark, say, force to give you powers, yes, absolutely wrong, because this is what happens, whatever's happening to Rezi here. So for you, again, so that's the family pattern. So let's help you disconnect from that. I would suggest a session. I suggest a session to help you come into yourself and literally break that contract for you. Okay. Whatever that you've done with me, okay, you're getting to that point where you're pulling away from that contract or agreement. And that's why you're people who go through XI and say they have contracts, so to speak, or again, in religion, the sins of the father, that's what it's about, right? They have that contract. And then what happens for you, Rezi, is that you're breaking that apart. You're breaking apart. So your life feels like it's being destroyed or breaking apart. And this is the process of XI detox for you. And again, not all of you go through that, but people again who have contracts or say like sometimes addiction patterns, right? You're breaking away from that thing that holds on to you so tightly, and you think that your life is falling apart, dying, and all that stuff. You don't want to go back into it, because if you go back into it and you release, this is where willpower comes in for those people again going through this process. Many of you will through November, especially mid-November. A lot of shit hits the fan, so to speak. And it's a great opportunity just to pull away. So for you, Rezi, it's a great opportunity to completely disconnect and die. So you're not the one who's dying off, by the way. You're not the one who's like falling apart. That identity that is consumed you, it's kind of like a symbiote. If you've watched Venom, I think it's a DC Comics movie. If you watch Venom, it's literally an identity that latches on to the host and takes over. That identity, as you pull it away, it feels like it's dying. It makes you think that you're dying or disconnecting. So allow yourself, again, be aware of your spine, be aware of, again, spatial referencing, and you'll separate from it. If you watch the movies, again, Venom or the Dark, I don't know which version of the Spider-Man movies where he has a black suit, it's literally that pattern, whether it's for addictions, situations of curses, so to speak, or contracts. Okay, that's basically what a contract is. Literally, they install this thing that you can't live without. Crazy. Anyway, so so I'm helping you say get stronger, because you're not just quite strong enough yet to completely pull away. So creating that strength, and then you stay strong, and then it dies off. Okay. So with that, guys, again, I could go on for hours, but obviously I can't. So with that, notice what you notice. Notice the details. Next week we have a series of. We're going to do a whole. We're gonna do. Just getting my notes. We're gonna do a whole note on. We're gonna do a whole series on health. Okay, 4 or 5 series on health. Damn, I can't find my notes, guys. Sorry about that. Here we go. We're gonna do a whole series on health. 4 or 5 weeks straight out, Moss on Sundays, health pattern, and this is to get you ready for the Total Human Reset coming up in February, I believe. So, okay. Why yo-yo dieting, high performance athletes, all those individuals. Again, I can't find my notes. Sorry about that. But it goes into the details. So take a look at the series on that. Even if you don't do the Total Human Reset, you get a deeper understanding, and it'll start you on the path to having a healthier you for 2022. All right, guys. So as we end, notice what you notice, and then notice the details of what you're noticing. Peace.